pitch deck, like we heard some of the pitches today. I have a show idea or a film idea. From ground up, what am I doing exactly? You know, what's step one, step two? How do I get to that point where I can feel secure knowing that I now have the resources to pay folks?
That's a really good question. If you walk into my office and you get through the barrage of people that are the gatekeepers of me, what I look for is a few things, is to do your research, know your audience, know me in terms of what am I about, what types of films have I been advocating for, know me as a person in terms of what do I like to do, what's my repertoire in terms of, or my CV in terms of the movies that I've made, and also what else do I do? Do I actually mentor? Do I make part of advisory councils and boards and things like that? So know me, but also know my company's culture, or know my culture that I've, really meticulously sort of had to work on, bring that in the door. You can talk to me informally, but if you walk into a larger studio, you can't do that. So the base level is know your audience, but also come prepared to answer questions. I want to hear your story, but don't over-explain it. Get to the point, be concise, be really thoughtful about what you're presenting to me. And I will say, if you have visuals, I was part of the pitch competition, the panel earlier today, is what I look for is how prepared was the presenter when they were pitching their idea. And have they thought about things from start to finish? Have they thought about also marketing? Because a lot of people think of marketing as an afterthought as opposed to a forethought, and it's really important to do that. Is it visually stunning? Who are some of the creators that are attached? And I'll ask you legacy questions as well, in terms of, do you have a financing plan? Who are the EPs that are involved? Because a lot of times those things come out later on in life and you're like, I didn't know that was an EP that put some development money into a particular project. What is your cost to date? So I like to work hand in hand with the creator, and that gets you in the door, me listening, looking at something, but also it's really important to have somebody that can guide you through the process. I don't care if you're an emerging filmmaker, I don't care if you're a mid-level creator, or you've won Oscars and things like that. There has to be solidarity, there has to be support from one another, which I don't see, and Ellie, you were talking about that too, is just, we need to have more of us on stages like this that share knowledge, but also are willing to give and dedicate time to each other. And I always never understood why people would close the door and not even respond to my emails, and I'm trying really desperately to respond to everything. So collaboration, looking at, how are you pitching something? What is your idea? Are you thinking about going the indie or the studio space? Because a lot of times, typically in the indie space, you have more creative control. You have more creative freedom, both with just not your content, but also with distribution as well. Those are things to really think about. So 3 things to think about with respect to what you want to, sorry, I'm over-answering your question.
Please keep going.
Thank you.
I don't know shit. They don't want to hear from me, they want to hear from you.
Definitely seek wise counsel to save time and save money, because you can be shooting in the dark, just trying to figure this out yourself for no good reason. And I've been in that position where projects are kind of molded that we thought were going to happen, and somebody who I trust and respect, and I'm just like, oh, this person's a G in the industry, they're definitely going to make it happen. But they're a one-man band, they're not really consulting the proper parties to make things happen. No budget, you work really hard on something, and the only way we're going to market it is on Instagram or Facebook. That's not like the whole crux of marketing or getting your project out there. It has to be more thought out than that if it really means something to you. So tapping everything you're supposed to, going to get your grants, going to write the business plan, actually making sure that that makes sense for like full execution, and not just like focusing on, making the color of the picture really pretty. We have to make the whole thing a presentation.
Now, what exactly is it are you looking for when someone walks into your office? Or like, what are some do's and don'ts? You know what I mean? Like, I can't walk in there and give you a script. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do that. But what type of, this is different from home loan, it's different from these types of things. What exactly is it that you need from a creative?
The amazing synergy about this conversation is that everything these ladies just said, yeah, both what Candace and Brenda said. They talked about business plans, knowing your budget, knowing your audience. And I felt like she was dripping the sauce, but she's telling me what litmus test she has before she can get an investor to invest in her project. So you as a creative, you better understand your audience. Banks are very conservative in the way that we lend, right? And so look at our product solutions. Do we have a product where we can lend working capital into your project without collateral? BMO does. We'll provide a line of credit up to $500,000 without collateral. But you're gonna need cash flow. So you're gonna need a demonstrated CV and a consistency of cash flow. Now sometimes the creative industry doesn't always provide consistency of cash flow. So are banks necessarily the best vehicle as you think about an early stage startup creative business? They're the crowdfunding, which was mentioned earlier, right? Nonprofits and foundations who do a lot of work in this space and provide grants. And then it's the good old, I ask people this question when they ask me for money as a banker. Because we love to pitch and black folks, we love to hook up. Let's be honest with you. And we get mad when we don't get it. So we go to the bank, we don't have a plan, we get upset, we didn't get the loan, we cast banks down, we say all kind of nasty things, but then we understand the format, the audience, who we're going to seeking capital from. There are black-led funds that are popping up all over the country. And they have industry focuses that run the gamut. Some of them are looking for creators just like you. Find them, know the audience. But be prepared when you show up. Have the pitch deck, have the numbers, have proof of concept that you can actually execute it, and you better build out a really good team. Because everybody wants to get down with a winner. All right? Nobody likes losers. Nobody likes losers. Get with a winner. BMO, we're winner. I'm just saying. I hate to brag a little bit, but we're winners.
Yeah, I'm a person, I know.
Look, we're winners. We're winners.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because this is fascinating. Are you guys saying that if I had an idea for an independent feature, I could show up with a plan for it and go straight to the bank? That kind of blows my mind.
Let me get to
Because
the
I've never heard of that.
Let me get into the meat and potatoes. So Lamar said it from the get-go. He said he can't show up to my office with a script and expect to get funding. He couldn't have been more on. But if you have a business and you've been in that business for a while, you should have financials. So at the very least, I expect you to have 2 years of solid financials, tax returns, company prepared, know your numbers inside and out, be able to respond to the questions. And if you have 2 years of bleeding in the red, that's gonna be really hard for me to do. It's gonna be really hard for me to do. It's gonna be really hard for a lot of folks to do. So we think about the whole ecosystem of what we touch. So I tell people, before you even think about it, and you need a bank along the journey, no matter what. So getting in and establishing these relationships early are very important because you get to pipe into an ecosystem where we're serving everything from large corporate to everything in the community, from nonprofits and foundations, right? So I know a CDFI. What is a CDFI? Community Development Financial Institution. What do? They invest 60% of their assets into communities of low and moderate income. Do they have programs that offer creators the opportunity to get some early startup capital to move into the venture, to create the art, to produce the movie? Surely some of them do. Who are they? Chicago is one of the best places for CDFIs. We have the most in the country, right? We got Center Space, which is on the west side. We got Regal Mall, is being developed right here on the south side. So we know this industry is burgeoning, right? So we invest in things when we see opportunity. Just show up to the opportunity prepared, and you'll win.
Maybe you can't come into his office with a script, but you can partner with your friend who has a production company, and then you all have a business together where you can go into his office with
Those financials.
something else. There you go. Right.
I want to open it up to the audience, but first, before I do that, I do want to share, so get your questions ready, just a few.